Greetings and welcome to the second part of the Project Zomboid Solitude introduction, where we create our world, create our character, and hope for the best. So, without further ado, let's do this. Solo. So, there are three options we can play the game. Currently, I only played on the Survivor difficulty, but we are going to be doing it as realistically as possible, so we will be going Apocalypse. But because Apocalypse is a bit of a hassle to tackle later on, I'll be going a slightly modified Apocalypse. So, the main thing why I'm doing this is because once Apocalypse reaches peak population, 28 days later, the zombies become too crowded to manage, and the main game mechanic to solve the issue is to herd them around like sheep and lure them into the forest or lure them into a remote area, lose sight of them, and then just circle around back to the original spot you want to loot. And I want to avoid doing that as much as possible, so I'm gonna do it when I have to, but I don't want this entire series to be one big sheep herding zombie simulator. So that's why we are going to do a custom sandbox with the Apocalypse preset. Also, this series is not going to include any mods, because that's the way I play most of my games. I usually download mods if they resolve some kind of a issue the developers either overlooked or actually didn't bother to deal with, and the community that did that for them. Project Zomboid is actually pretty good in its vanilla form. I mean, there are hundreds if not thousands of mods you can choose from, but I'm not going to pick any of that. So let's hit next. As we discussed, we are going to start with Moldra because, well, it is the safest of all the spots, of all the spawning locations to start in. You are spawned in the residential area, which has the least amount of population, and that's why it's actually the safest one to have a permanent base in. So, population. As we said, we are going with low for the reasons I stated before. I don't want no zombie sheep herder simulator here. Zombie distribution, we are going to remain on urban focus, because if we use uniform, that's going to negate the benefits of suburbs. So zombies are going to spread all over the place. So what's the point in starting at Moldra if you're going to spread them? Time, I'm not going to modify anything here. Usually people modify the starting hour at 5 a.m. So they can catch the first show on television. Television actually has 3 shows during the day. So at 6 a.m., at noon, and at 6 p.m. Although television lasts only the first 7 days, after that it stops broadcasting, those skills are pretty good head-on, because you learn carpentry, you learn cooking, and you learn some of the survivor skills. So it's a pretty decent head start if you manage to catch all the shows during the first week. Because I'm going with the hands-on approach, learning on the job, so to speak, I won't be doing any of that, so there won't be any television watching during this playthrough. I will be using books, but maybe television if I manage to get the tapes, but yeah, that's quite a lot of effort to get them. World, I won't be tackling any of these. The only thing I am going to mention, if you're not aware of, that water shutoff comes before electricity shutoff. Usually water shuts off during the second week. Sometimes I had it last into the third, but that's as far as I can go. Electricity always shuts off after water. Now, this shut-off comes purely at random. Sometimes it shuts off mere days after the water. Sometimes you can actually have electricity for a full month. So that's that. Next, nature. I'm not going to tackle any of this. I could slow down the erosion speed, but what's the point? Because, you know, a decade-old character, erosion is going to catch up even if I set it to very slow. So, sadistic AI director, helicopters, meta events, and sleeping events. I'm not going to tackle any of these. Actually, the helicopter is going to serve as a milestone, and yeah, we'll get to that eventually. So yeah, meta. I am going to touch some of these things. First of all, I'm going to disable annotated map chance, and I'm going to explain that in a little while. Time before corpse removal, I'm going to change this to 150 hours because 216 is an oddly specific number. I don't like oddly specific numbers. I am very suspicious of oddly specific numbers. So 150, nice round number. It's close to 216. You know what? Let's set it to 200 just to be safe, you know? As round as we can get. Okay. Corpse health impact, no. Blood level. So this is an essential setup you want to modify if you're running a low spec machine, because blood levels in this game can actually wreck your game once you start stacking bodies and spilling blood all over the place. So usually if you have a low end machine, you either turn it off or turn it to low. I'm going to set it to low because my machine isn't the best of machines out there, but it's a decent spec, so I'm gonna leave it at low. Loot rarity, not gonna touch anything. Character, not gonna touch anything. But weapon multi-hit is going to be the biggest debuff we have. This is actually going to be the first playthrough I'm running without weapon multi-hit, because it's a crucial combat feature, because it allows you to hit multiple zombies with every swing and shove multiple zombies with every push. So if you have a horde of 25-30 zombies in front of you, you can actually handle them pretty well. Just keep swinging, keep shuffling back, and until your weapon breaks, you're pretty good. I mean, even if you're exhausted, you can actually keep them at bay until you get really, really huddled. So I'm going to disable this, and yeah, this is going to make the game a whole lot challenging, because I cannot just plow into the horde and settle it that way. So I'm either going to have to herd it away, which I will try to avoid, or I'm going to have to play stealth. So yeah, in-game map. So as I mentioned in the meta, annotated map chance is disabled because of these features. So I am going to allow myself a minimap, and I'm going to get the entire map known on start. I think that's a fair trade. First of all, having the entire map revealed, that information doesn't cost anything for you to provide. Also, it's a good way to have a decent sense of direction, because a lot of games with huge worlds have an issue where players like me hate having blind spots on our maps. So we actually roam all over the entire area, and soon enough we found out that the developers actually dropped wide expanses of forests or outer space where we wander for like 6 or 7 hours without actually finding anything in that area. So yeah, the developers would say, you know, that makes our world bigger, it's more immersive. No, it makes your players look like dumbasses, like roaming, shuffling all over the place without anything to do. Like, I wasted 8 hours in the forest, I didn't find anything. Like, what's the point? Well, you revealed the map. I mean, you could have given that information to me. I want to know where I'm heading. I mean, exploration is good if there's something to find. If there's nothing to find in the area, just tell me there's nothing there, put an invisible wall, put an obstacle, put a warning sign like don't go this way, and save me the trouble. So yeah, I'm rambling. Okay, moving on. Vehicles, not gonna touch anything. Zombie lore, not gonna touch anything. Proper zombies the way the developers intended for us to fear. Advanced zombie options. So these are the options I'm going to be handling the most, and this is going to be the most controversial part of this episode. So first of all, population multiplier 0.25. For the sheep herder's sake, 0.25 also. The other thing, I'm going to respawn unseen hours to 72 hours. This will actually prevent the zombies from respawning in the area that I've actually raided, that I'm currently raiding. Because sometimes raiding is a long time process. I've actually had a situation where I had a couple of warehouses to clear, and I spent the day roaming the warehouses, clearing every zombie in the area, and then I started loading my car, loading my trailer, Then I go to the base to unload. It takes me a while to unload. Like, I lose an entire day just unloading stuff. And then when I come back, all the zombies have respawned. Like, even though the respawn hour is 72 hours, no, because the chunk hasn't been seen. Yeah, the game is gonna spawn them exactly there, because all other chunks are filled. So no. Respawn unseen hours, 72 hours, so I don't want zombies to be respawning in the areas that I'm currently going through. So 72 hours is what, 3 days? Yeah, that's a decent thing, because if I'm not in an area in 3 days, I've left, so you can take the area, yeah. But because I nerfed that thing, I'm going to increase zombie migrations. So redistribution hours is going to be increased from 12 hours to 6. So zombies will shuffle faster, they will migrate faster. So even if I clear the area, if I'm not back in a day or two, the zombies will flood into it, but it's not going to be entirely populated. So yeah. Another thing, follow some distance, I'm going to remove to 75 because I really hate the fact that I can drive past a horde and I can go to the other side of the town. I leave the car, I start raiding, and then 2 hours later the horde just stumbles upon my location and floods the entire building. Because they heard me driving in this entire area, and because I was 95 tiles away, it wasn't far enough for them to lose track. Yeah, screw that. 75 tiles, take it or leave it. That's it. So, we are saving under Solitude. Yes, there we go. Next, we are creating our character. So, I am going to play a female character. Why? Because I'm a guy. It's obvious, right? I mean, guys like staring at girls. We like staring at ladies. I mean, they're pretty. I want to look at something pretty. I'm going to be playing like hundreds and thousands of hours in this game, hopefully. I want to stare down something pretty. I want to modify something pretty. I don't want to stare at myself. I stare at myself every freaking day in the mirror when I wake up. Like, that's more than enough. So, unemployed because we are going pretty long term and we want a pretty general start. So I can take any of these to give me a better head start. But yeah, I'm going to go with the general run because long term is what matters. The start is going to define our game, but yeah, we're going long term. Positive or negatives? Let's go with the negatives first. And as we said, slow learner is going to be the first one we take. So, slow learner because it's part of the long-term gaming experience. So it's going to take me a while to learn everything, and every bit of skill I learn is going to be worth it. It's going to feel earned. So let's move on. Let's deal with the negatives. So let's go from the top. Slow reader I'm going to pick because that's basically 2 free points you get. You can speed up time in single player, and most of the time when you're reading, it doesn't really matter how much time you spend reading because you're in your base, you're pretty much safe. You're not gonna read when you're out raiding or stuff. Next, I'm going to take weak stomach, and with weak stomach comes prone to illness because these two can be quite easily mitigated. A weak stomach, high chance to have food illness. Well, don't eat sucky food. So don't eat anything poisonous, don't eat anything rotten, and this trait basically means 3 points you get for free. Prone to illness, more prone to disease. Most diseases you get from eating rotten food, which we're not going to do, and from staying outside. But outdoorsman, our first positive trait, is going to negate this. So yeah, with outdoorsman, we can stay outside as long as we want. We can get rained on, we can get stormed on as much as we want. Yeah, the only thing outdoorsman doesn't solve is the temperature issue, because during the winter, it doesn't really matter how outdoorsy you are. If you're not wearing any clothes, you're gonna die to cold. So there's nothing you can do about that. Faster rate of zombification. Zombification is actually a non-issue because, you know, if you get bitten, you're screwed. Game over. Doesn't matter if you die in a day or if you die in 3. So we're not gonna think about that. Okay, let's move on. Next, I am going to take... where is it? Do I take feeble or do I take weak? I mean, I want to have a decent start. Weak? Oh, no. No, that's actually too extreme. Yeah, let's go feeble. Strength -3, and if I am reducing it this way, underweight or very underweight? Yeah, very underweight. So 3 fitness, 3 strength. Yeah, it's a balanced handicap start. Very underweight is actually pretty easy to deal with. You just find the most caloric foods and you just stuff your face with them. There are dried foods that actually provide you with 3 or 4,000 calories, and when you find them, you gain like 2 kilos during the next day. And once we start finding these foods, the underweight issue is going to disappear. The same thing goes with overweight. It works the other way around. It's remarkably easy to gain weight in this game, but it's difficult to lose it. I mean, you can't just not eat because, yeah, you have to pay attention to what you're eating. Like, losing weight is complicated in this game, but gaining, simple matter. Just find the most caloric thing and just stuff your face. Let's move on. What are we taking? We are taking Slow Healer because this is a long-term, realistic run. Every wound is going to be a consequence, and this Slow Healer feat is going to keep me slow and careful. I hope, at least, I don't get reckless. So, anything else? No. 43 points, so basically that's 45 points because we took Outdoorsman. Let's go with the positive ones. Speed Demon is a good trait if you want to use cars extensively and if you want to fight with cars, but it actually destroys your stealth speedruns because, well, Speed Demon actually revs your car higher, and once you're going into reverse, your revs hit like 5,000, which makes your car scream and summon everything in its maximum sound range. So we're not going to take Speed Demon. Cat's Eyes, I'm not going to be spending much time in the dark, but if I get caught outside, it actually helps. So I can see the silhouettes a little bit better, and yeah. Dexterous, I'm taking Dexterous, and I'm going to take Keen Hearing, because these two are essential. I mean, once you play with them, you're never going to avoid picking them. Dexterous speeds up your transfer inventories from yourself to the crates and vice versa. It actually doubles that speed. So Dexterous is, yeah, you're going to be spending a lot of time managing your inventory, and you need this. Keen Hearing, I mean, it doubles your perception radius. It saves you from being surprised from the back. I cannot remember the amount of times that I was engaging hordes and zombies come from behind, and without Keen Hearing I would have died so many times. So yeah, this is a lifesaver. If you're not playing with Keen Hearing, you're severely handicapping yourself. So yeah, let's move on. Organized is another feat that we need, trait. I keep saying feat because, yeah, I'm playing too much Dungeons and Dragons, but oh well. Trait, feat, same thing. Pretty much. Organized, yes, this helps you with squeezing every inch of efficiency from your inventory. Your Cortanias carry more, your bags carry more, and you're gonna have more stuff in your base once you start hoarding. And I'm gonna start hoarding, yeah. 27 points. What else do I pick? Yeah, well, let's go with the standard pack. These three. So, Graceful and Inconspicuous reduce your detection when you're moving, when you're sneaking. Graceful also helps reduce the chance of stumbling over fences. Inconspicuous also reduces the range from which the zombies detect me. So yeah, these two are decent help in remaining stealthy. Lucky, 10% increased rare loot. I could have modified that in the options, but I'm not gonna do that because what's the point of modifying it if you don't pay the price? And this is the price for finding all this spicy loot. Yeah, I think it's fair. Let's see, from the top. Wakeful, no, we're not gonna be taking Wakeful because we'll be wasting nighttime. Nighttime is when you're supposed to sleep. So you sleep when it gets dark, and when you wake up, it's the morning, and then you can go around your business. You don't want to do anything during the day, unless during the night, because it's nighttime is the time when zombies reign supreme. Nighttime is the time when you should hunker down. If you have a hideout, hunker down, wait for morning, or if you got something to do in your base, you can do it in your base if you're safe. So because during the night you won't be able to see them, they're going to spot you from further than you're going to spot them, and you're gonna get blindsided pretty damn fast. So no, this is a positive trait. Personally, I consider it a negative because you want to have a regular sleep schedule. No, we're not going to pick this. Angler, baseball player, gardener, nutritionist, runner, pretty much everything. I mean, nutritionist is pointless because you're given this thing at the start. Anyway, these starting traits that give flat bonuses are pointless on the long run because I'm going to learn these things eventually anyway. I mean, it's not going to change the way I start the game. Brave, I'm gonna pick Brave because I've never played with Brave, so let's go. Amateur Mechanic, yeah, another one I usually pick at the start because I want to have access to all the car repairs. But I'm not going to be tackling car repairs early on, and I'm going to find all the manuals eventually, so yeah, I'm gonna take my time, so no, I don't need this. This would be a waste of points. Eagle Eye, yeah, it's decent, but I'm not gonna pick it because I'm not. 11 points. Let's say Thick Skinned. So, Thick Skinned is actually your last line of defense. You don't want to rely on it, but it helps. So, every time you get scratched or you get attacked by a zombie and you don't get bitten, count your blessings and you can consider Thick Skin to save your life. So, not every bite is deadly, but any bite could be deadly, and Thick Skin reduces that chance. It's also when you it also reduces your injuries when you actually tend to get injured. So yeah, it helps. It helps. 3 extra points. Do I have any positives to add? 1 and 2. Speed Demon and Wakeful. I mean, I can't add any of these. I don't want them. So, I mean, we can throw something out. A weak stomach, 3 points. I mean, I'm not going to be eating anything rotten or poisonous, so Slow Reader can go. Yeah, ignore anything I said about Slow Reader. We're not picking it. 1 point. Oh, this is gonna trigger some people. Like, you have 1 spare point. Use it. Take Speed Demon. It's gonna benefit you. No, I'm gonna leave you this 1 point so you can have, you have a nervous breakdown. Like, yeah, the dude's playing with 1 spare free point. He could have used it. No, I'm not gonna use it. Charlie Mobley. No, we'll be playing a female, like I said. Maya. No, your name is going to be Princess. Yeah. Female. Oh, you have a hoodie. Okay. No, you have a cap on. Skin color medium. Hair type long. Color gray. Yeah, we're playing a young girl, and she's young and has gray hair. I mean, that's how I usually build my characters. They're younger in appearance, but gray hair makes them stand out, I like standing out. Yeah, that's that. Stubble. This doesn't do anything. Oh, yeah, it's a female. Oh, never mind. Clothing. Oh, you know what I'm doing. None. Oh, wow. You're a pretty one to look at. Oh, yes, you are. Okay, well, we are going to save Princess, and yeah, once I hit the play button, episode 1 is going to start, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully the game has mercy. Yeah, Lee, thanks for waving. Yeah, we're off. See you next time, folks.